Male delusion, telling men what they want to hear. I was in the airport recently and I saw this couple, and it was a young white couple, and the guy, he looked like a pretty manly guy. And I was observing how he interacted with his girlfriend or wife, I'm not sure which. And then after a while, I noticed that the woman was leading the man around like he was a kid. You know those kids when they go to the park and their mom's around and the mom grabs the little kid's hands and leads the boy around. You know, the same thing was happening with this grown man. He had to be probably early 20s, and it was sad to see. But on the same flight, I saw this black couple, and it was pretty bad as well. So the man, I don't know if you've ever seen those kids when the young kid is vying for the mother's attention, and he's constantly rubbing up against her, talking to her. I mean, just really trying to get affection and attention from the mother. And this dude, he must have been like 20 as well. He was acting like a little kid, and the woman was acting like his mother. It was so weird. And then recently, when I went to Albania, I saw this older white couple. They had to be in their 50s. And the guy said something to his wife like, yeah, we're going out of D something gate. And then the woman just his wife explodes into this tirade about, don't get mad at me. And the guy wasn't mad at her, She was like, don't get mad at me. Don't talk to me like that. And she just berates this guy. She berates this guy in front of me, and she didn't care who was listening or whatever. And I was thinking to myself, these are the type of relationships that men are killing each other over. It made absolutely no sense. But then, here recently, there's this one popular YouTuber. At first, in some of his earlier videos, he talked about how there is a no-alt. Not all women are like that, meaning all women have those instincts as far as hypergamy and thinking that they're always right, solipsism. And now he's changed his tune. He said that, yeah, there's women out there. There's unicorns, essentially. There's 5% women, virtuous women. And it just goes to show that men nowadays, especially if they're trying to get paid on Patreon and things of that nature, they will tell men what they want to hear. That's the payday. That's how they make their money, man. And it's sad to see. And I'm thinking to myself, this is the male delusion as well. Men so want to believe that there's this virtuous woman out there, this 5% women out there, that they'll tell other men anything. And I remember this one YouTuber that I'm talking about. I knew he was going to change his tune because at one point he brought on an ex-girlfriend. And I could tell that he probably thought she was like a 5%er or 10%er or whatever. And I remember looking at this woman and seeing straight through her. In the Caribbean, like I mentioned before, a lot of my family comes from the Caribbean. You can find a lot of nice women in the Caribbean, man, that cook, clean, take care of kids. It's like normal over there. But they still have those hypergamous instincts. They'll still lie. They'll still manipulate and all this stuff. But here in America, guys are so not used to it that they think any woman's a virtuous woman. So as soon as I saw that video, I figured, this dude's going to change his tune later on. And lo and behold, he did. And now he was talking about how there's another YouTuber or whatever who thinks that he has an AWOL unicorn. And he was talking about the qualities that his wife possesses that makes her unicorn. Hold on, let me grab this. Let me grab my notes. And I'm thinking to myself, it's the typical male delusion. It's see, the thing is, when men get with women, they never get with women and they're thinking to themselves, this woman's shady. This woman she's a psycho. She's mean. She doesn't know how to cook. And I mean, the woman always puts on her best facade. We all know this. But in this letter he wrote about the qualities, oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Let me go up to number 1. Oh yeah, okay. So he said, number 1, she appreciates when I make decisions and she likes to follow my lead. Every man thinks this. And every woman knows that a man wants this. So even if she's a shady woman, she'll act like this initially to draw the man in. This is like red pill 101. But again, this man's opinion is popular because male delusion. He's telling men what they want to hear. So number 2, you have, she never takes me for granted. Reminds the children that to be grateful. Again, I mean, a lot of guys that I've met, married guys in relationships, they will say that, oh man, my wife, my girlfriend, she never takes me for granted. But then when you watch them in ordinary life, this is not true. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen in this guy's relationship, but generally, the woman does take the man for granted at some point, That's just what I've seen in relationships. Of course, I'm not saying I'm always right, but I've seen that a lot in relationships. Number 3 was just like, she's content with very little. This is another one. A lot of women initially, they can see potential when they look at you. Like, when I worked in engineering, I noticed a lot of girls would get with engineers because they knew that as he progressed in his career, he would make a lot of money. There were some women who used some engineers to leave the Bay Area and travel other places. There were some women who used engineers to do their work for them. There were women who used the engineering guys to. She got out of a run relationship with a guy who had a big title at the company, and then she got with another guy who was on the rise in the company as well. I mean, she didn't really care. She was just like, she just used these men to progress up the ladder. So women are very tactical. They can see a man, see his potential, and see, well, in 10 years, he'll have, over $1 million in savings, over $2 million in savings, and they'll stay with the man and make the man think that she loves him for the long haul and then screw him over later on. Or if the guy is one of those alpha types who thinks that he can do no wrong and it's because he has this alpha frame, she'll stick with the guy, let him think that he's the leader and he's doing all this stuff, and then she'll just cheat on the side, go on little trips on the side that the guy doesn't know about. Now, the 4th one was laughable. I mean, it said that she never becomes hysterical or argues with the guy, which is probably absolutely false. I haven't met one woman who doesn't have some sort of emotional outbreak here and there and that doesn't argue. I mean, everybody argues, even men argue. So this idea that the woman's just going to sit there and be docile like a robot, doesn't argue and doesn't get hysterical is laughable. And the thing about this is, again, all these four qualities that supposedly this know-all possesses, it's exactly what men want to hear. Every man wants to hear that. And every man generally says that about his woman, his wife, or his girlfriend. They always say that, oh yeah, my woman, she doesn't argue with me because she knows that I'm going to make the right decisions. Oh, actually, let me break this down a little bit more. He says that she never becomes hysterical or argues with him, even when he's wrong. So that's bullshit. So, but like I was saying before, every guy always says that, oh yeah, she doesn't argue with me. Oh, she's content with little. Oh yeah, I never have to worry about money with her. She never takes me for granted. And what's the other one? Hold on, what's the other one? Oh yeah, she follows my lead. I mean, for the most part, you're never gonna see a guy, for the most part, who's in this male delusion say that, oh yeah, yeah, man, she's always trying to shoot me down, and she never considers my emotions, and she always argues with me, and she's super materialistic, and she hits the kids and abuses the kids, and she's hysterical all the time. Like, I've met so many men, I've worked with so many men now, that when you see them with their wives and their girlfriends, it's completely different to what they try to portray, because they're always trying to portray this idea that they live in that they're in this ideal relationship, that they have everything under control, that they're the man, and she's so totally submissive to him, and it's complete nonsense, man. So I just wanted to make this video because there's so much male delusion out there, man. There's so much male delusion. These guys think that some of these YouTubers are telling them the truth, when basically they're just telling the men what they want to hear, man. And it's really screwing up a lot of dudes' lives when they go out there and they encounter these women and they're not like that, or they encounter these women and they lie and cheat, but then they try to keep up a facade because they look up to these YouTubers that supposedly have their back, when most of the time these YouTubers are getting paid from telling these guys what they want to hear. But anyway, that was it. I was just spitballing there for a minute. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and I will talk to you later.